Assalamu alaikum guys. Bradman Museum and the International Cricket Hall of Fame. जी म्यूज़ियम के अंदर मैं जा रहा हूँ और द इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट हॉल ऑफ फेम। आपको अंदर म्यूज़ियम में क्या क्या दिखेगा। हमारी जो टीम है लाहौर कलंदर की, लाहौर कलंदर की टीम इस टाइम अंदर म्यूज़ियम में देख रही हैं चीज़ों को, और आप भी साथ साथ विज़िट को एंजॉय कीजिए। गाइड किया जा रहा है और दिस इज़ द म्यूज़ियम व्यू। वी कैन गो and watch.
And his father Stan had kept every cap, every red cap that Adam played in. The one right on the end there from Riverina is when he was 12. And it goes right through. Why I like it is because, like I said, we normally see the bat of a great player or the cap of a great player. This is a cap of a young guy who dreamt about playing for his country and ended up doing it. I know when I was 12, I dreamt about playing for Australia, and as I joke when the schools come through, as I joke with them, the only difference between me and Adam Gilchrist was I didn't have as much talent as he did. So unfortunately I didn't play for Australia. But it explains the difficulties he had. Now a lot of you guys will understand about the difficulties of furthering your cricket career. When you watched Adam Gilchrist at his peak, it looked like it was easy. If you've seen him play, he'd hit the ball. It was almost like he wasn't even trying and the ball would go miles, you know? But he played for New South Wales at under-17s, didn't make the under-19 team. He got a partial scholarship for 6 months to the AIS, the Australian Institute of Sport. At the end, they said, you'll make a good club player, not even a state player. He thought, no way. So that cap there with the circles on it, when he was 18, he went to England, played for Richmond Club, so he could play through our winter. Came back, made the under-19s Australian side as vice-captain. He came to Sydney, he wanted to be a wicketkeeper batsman. First club he went to, they had a guy called Greg Dyer, probably not a name you know, he only ever played one test, but he was the wicketkeeper batsman from Gordon, so he changed clubs. Then he did so well with his club, he made the New South Wales team. But he still wasn't the wicketkeeper batsman because Greg Dyer was the wicketkeeper batsman in New South Wales as well. So he changed states to Western Australia. Western Australia had the previous Australian wicketkeeper, Tim Zura. They loved Tim Zura. When Adam Gilchrist first played for Western Australia in the first Shield game he played in Western Australia, the Western Australian crowd booed him. Booed their own player because they preferred Tim Zura. Now, I'd like to think that the Western Australian crowd that were booing him saw him bat one day down the order and make a quick 100 in about 60 balls and probably thought, hang on, this guy's pretty good, he might do some good for us. But from there he went on, he played initially for the ODI Australian team and then took over from Ian Healy as the Australian wicketkeeper in all forms, and of course had an amazing career in all forms, and now has a career as a commentator. So his life in cricket goes on. So that's why I like this display, because it shows the progression all the way through.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's good.
Now, please say if you don't want to do this, but when we have former test players come here, we have a little bit of a board where we get people to sign. Would you be happy enough to sign for us? This is our kids' backyard. So we like to do it here because we've got just stuff that the kids can enjoy, and we like the idea of them seeing the signatures of players and hopefully maybe dreaming that they might be able to do that one day as well. Now, although we are running out of space, where am I going to? Maybe right there. Maybe we'll go for right there under Alan Davis. I don't know what colour.
हेड कोच ऑफ लाहौर के अंदर आकिब जाहिद साहब सिग्नेचर कर रहे हैं बॉल पे.
Excellent, thank you. Great honour.
Let's clap.
Well, oh actually, yeah, no, you write your name underneath, that'd be great as well, yeah. Thank you for that. I was saying before to Akib that I remember watching him play when he played, and you know, as one of the great fast bowling attacks of the world, it's great fast bowling. And as I said to somebody else, I said I used to be an opening bat, only at grade level, but I used to watch, you know, you guys play and be thankful that I wasn't opening the batting at that level. Okay, now this section goes into the historic part. So this is where we talk about early cricket. So we talk about how cricket, the first reference goes back to 1334. Oh. Our oldest exhibit is here from 1750. Some of you were holding the 1938 bat before, then we're looking at the more modern bats, and I think you might have even picked up the Chris Gale bat that's illegal now. This is what a bat looked like back in 1750. Wow. Now, they weren't made of willow, they were made of oak. It's black because it was sealed with tar. So as much as a lot of the old things here, I have to look after very carefully because you don't want to get fungus, bugs, anything like that. That thing has so much tar in it, nothing could live on it. The bats were quite heavy. The bats were heavy low down. Now, does anybody know how people bowled in 1750? Do you know how they bowled in 1750?
Underarm.
All underarm.
Yeah.
All underarm. In fact, early on this, a lot of the time was rolled or skimmed along the ground. So having a bat that was slightly curved helped you hit it a bit better. Really heavy on the bottom, so if you got onto it, it actually went somewhere, but they're also dangerous. Back in the 1680s, in a match, a guy popped up a catch. Back in those days, you could hit the ball twice. So if I popped the ball up, I could then try to hit it again. What happened was, from the old reports I've read, he's popped the ball up, a guy's come to catch it, he's gone to hit it again, and he's hit the guy across the head. And unfortunately, the guy died a few days later. So it was very unfortunate. But it gives you an idea of how heavy those bats were when they were spun hard. Okay? Have a bit of a look around. As I said, I don't want to talk too much, but we're looking at a lot of the old stuff. So look at the old progression of bats. Look at some of the travel over there. We've also got a small display of our Indigenous team and so on like that. The Aboriginal team, they were the first team from Australia to tour in 1868.
Is it?
Yeah. Now, a team was formed by a guy called Tom Wills. Tom Wills was an Australian guy who was educated in Oxford in England, played first-class cricket over there, and he's famous for being the first person to put rules down for Australian rules, the football game.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, he formed an Aboriginal team in 1866. He on his father's property, farm, he had a lot of Aboriginal workers, and he grew up playing with the kids. Now, that team played a couple of games, but the money fell through. Then they formed the team in 1868, and somebody else took them to England. It's a good and bad story. They played 47 matches. They did really well. They had not a lot of depth. You know, they had some very good players, but not the depth that the county players had. But as you know, there's no test cricket in those days. Yeah. County cricket was the best cricket in the world. One of the stars was a guy called Johnny Muller, Australian player. Played about 42 of those 47 matches, batted and bowled. His batting average for that tour was 25. Now, the batsman here might think, 25, that's nothing. Back in the 1860s, if you went through a county season and averaged over 25, you were one of the top 5 batsmen in the world. Because the pitches were shocking. You played on any conditioned pitches. Your bats weren't great. The balls had gone well ahead of the bats. Different these days, unfortunately. And plus he bowled at an average of 10.4, right? Now, reports that I've read, one of the great writers of the game back in the day said that he could have walked into the gentleman versus players match. That was like the representative match, where, you know, if you were a duke or whatever, you played for the gentlemen. If you weren't, if you were one of the top 12, you played for the players. He was good enough to do that. W.G. Grace, the great W.G. Grace saw him and said Johnny Muller could have walked into any county team, remember, county cricket, best in the world, and been one of the top 2 or 3 players in that team without changing a thing. Great stuff. Here's the bad stuff. And this is unfortunately what, you know, people like me have to own as an Australian. When he came back to Australia, he played only one first-class match for Victoria. And that was when he was 38 years old. Because the English team were coming over, the Victorians were worried that the English would go, oh, hang on, we remember this guy, Johnny Muller, why is he not playing? So they stuck him in the team. He was